2 seconds into Xarnax's race. And we're off.
Pretty decent.
Alright, so we've got a 15 strength start, 13 agility, 14 HP, 7 MP. No spells right now. So what do we start out with? Got some not quite hand axe money.
And wings.
Very nice. So it's not hand axe money either.
I didn't expect either player to reset with so much strength. They can just get a little extra gold for a hand axe, but they have the wings as well, so plans are going to shift. I expect both players to go and buy keys right away.
Yeah, keys are, you know, a very important thing to have, and when you have money to get them right away, it's an adventure to the treasury to see what we've got. Alright, so we're just going into the back, and we're going to buy some keys over here. How many keys do you think they'll buy?
I think they might only... Oh no, they have enough for 6. They're fine. I thought maybe 5. But they'll buy all 6, and then they'll... It looks like Xarnax is opting to check the cave first, which makes sense, if it, especially at level 1. If it's mountain or grave, he can't really go into it right away anyway. It's the Stones of Sunlight Cave, and the Death Necklace is therein contained. In the treasury, Lorgon goes there first and finds a key, an herb, Erdrick's sword. What a fast race this is gonna be. And the guard won't relinquish the last chest. Meanwhile, Xarnax is already fighting outside. So this is one of the reasons that I like to check the treasury before the cave, because if the sword is in there, it's really, really important. Xarnax is strong enough to fight things out here, and unfortunately he doesn't get the Magidrake. This all would have been different if he had gotten the sword right away. But of course he'll check now, and it'll be alright.
Sorry about that, folks. Just doing a little bit behind-the-scenes magic here. In my shenanigans of starting, I didn't even get to get excited for the swamp start. But, you know, it's not actually a really good swamp start, so that is alright.
Xarnax finding the sword. That other chest was a cursed belt, which I doubt either racer will have any need for now that they started with keys and the sword.
Wow. So we've got level 2, like 2 minutes in. I wonder what that's like. But I should be nice to myself. And on Xarnax's side, we are also reaching level 2. So both racers now at level 2. We've got 1 power, 17 speed, 2 hit points, and 2 MP.
That level's all about agility. The runners won't have much mobility still due to a lack of HP, but that agility is going to help them run away from some enemies they might not want to fight immediately.
Alright, so already we've got level 3 on Lorgon's side and on Xarnax's side as well. Very even, so 3 power, 5 speed, 2 hit points, and 20 MP, so they can cast nothing yet, unfortunately.
I believe they both still have no spells. Xarnax is just about to hit level 4, although not yet, because he has been defeated by a Druid that has sleep. Lorgon encountering the same enemy and the same issue. Will he wake up in time? He's got one more chance. Nope, the Druid wins.
Wow, so we've got some pretty mirror images of each other right here.
Very close together in experience. I think only a Drakey separates them. Xarnax swiping at a blue slime just because he is now 1 blue slime away from level 4.
And with that, level 4 for Xarnax. We've got 3 power, 4 speed, 4 hit points, 1 MP, and a new spell, which is Outside.
A dead end to the southeast, a useless spell. Xarnax death warps immediately to get his HP back. He'll only have to take 2 damage going north out of that swamp.
And on Lorgon's side, we're also getting level 4 as well, and he gets the lovely news of a spell. Wait a second. Alright, so off we go to see what we can find with Erdrick's sword. You know, they're able to fight things such as the Warlock pretty early on, which is very nice for getting the ball rolling.
Tremendous value from Warlocks right now. It's only 2 Warlocks from their present position to get from level 4 to level 5. And Lorgon, unfortunately, running into his bigger brother, the Wizard, but thankfully, thanks to that, in part to that big agility boost, he was able to run away. Xarnax just might get level 5, but not from this enemy, it'll be the next one.
So, little offside note here, but I never really looked at the trees on Lorgon's side, and I think they're more of bushes.
Oh yeah! I've never seen them like that before.
Anyway, look at that. Dual level 5 for both of our runners. We got 2 power, 1 speed, 5 hit points, 0 MP, and a new spell, which is heal. That's going to be useful for adventuring.
Excellent for mobility. I don't know exactly how much HP they have, but they're still a little low. I think their max is, what, under 30?
They have exactly 27 HP. You can see that on the handy stats.
Oh yeah, everybody knows.
It's not a secret to everybody.
Great enemies for everyone to fight all around. The wizard's the only thing I've seen so far that no one wants to fight.
Yeah, very good zone over here. And, you know, of course with Erdrick's sword, that is really helping do the work for them, but it's, you know, very effective. So it looks like they're both just finding a little bit of desert to sort of walk around in and find some of the good things to fight. We've got a Demon Knight over on Lorgon's side, and he's being brave and fighting it, but looks like the Demon Knight is hurt more, so we'll be going back home.
It's not always easy to gauge how strong you are in such an enemy jump like that when you're doing in the 20s to a Warlock. Lorgon tested it out, and unfortunately Stop Spell worked, and then Hurtmore came. Both players still virtually even in experience, and everything else, of course. They haven't found any other locations. Xarnax finally reaching level 6, and in level 6, he gains 1 power, 8 response speed, 9 HP, and 11 MP. 9 HP, really valuable for exploration here. Xarnax can now take an attack from a lot of strong enemies and then potentially run away. Very good for exploration.
Yeah, and of course with the heal spell, it is going to let them be a little bit braver than when before they had that. It's really tricky to decide when to go out when you don't have heal, but you start to get a little bit brave when you're peeking your nose out in the world and seeing what's there. Unfortunately, sometimes you see an armored knight, and they're not happy to see you. So we've got a little trouble again with the Druid, except this time we're able to defeat it and get by it. Meanwhile, Lorgon will be escaping the castle again. Seeing what is a little further out there, hopefully.
Given the enemies that are all around that are so fightable with Erdrick's sword here, Lorgon can't even be called behind. The runners are virtually even, and Lorgon's going to get his next level in about 2 or 3 battles, most likely. Unless he keeps chipping away at ghosts, we'll see. Xarnax is getting some distance here, and still the enemies are not only fightable, but still valuable. From Xarnax's current position, it's only 5 skeletons to level 7. Very worth it.
Yeah, and these enemies are really nice to take down, of course, when you've got the sword right away, just because it's so much easier, and again, they are very valuable at this time just because you're still in the lower levels where they're not too far away from each other.
Will he one-shot a Metal Scorpion? Not quite.
I bet he could. Just has to put a little more swing into his arm. Some elbow grease.
A little bit.
Where have you found Erdrick's elbow grease?
I was gonna say Erdrick's elbow pad.
Alright, so we've got Lorgon going with Sparkover strats here, looking into the swamp, across a bridge. Unfortunately, no returns on that side.
There's some added value in exploring swamps as soon as you can, because a lot of players will stay away from them, and if you find something valuable, you might gain an advantage that way.
And, you know, you get bonus points for if it's across a bridge. Unfortunately, though, Lorgon finds another armored knight and is sent home, and meanwhile, actually, Xarnax finds himself in the exact same situation, and both players will go home. And well, thank you very much to Aspernari for gifting 5 subs to the community on behalf of Randomania2. Thank you so very much. And whoa, actually, I got one of those. Hi, it's me, Sparko. But thank you very much on behalf of Randomania2. So still, these armored knights are just kind of being buggers with their back attacks. And of course, with the low HP, you're not really going to be able to, you know, survive one of those yet. Xarnax now going on the bridge tour.
I thought he was trying to death warp there for a second, but it looks like he's just trying to make a choice. There's nothing across that bridge, and so he's continuing.
Just making sure.
Again, I don't consider Lorgon behind here at all. There's such good enemies everywhere, and no one has found a location. Part of this race could come down to divergence in exploration. We'll have to see. Nice, excellent move from Xarnax on a very valuable wolf. Now 1 enemy away from level 7.
So as I was doing some behind-the-scenes things, do you remember what Xarnax found in the swamp, in the Tentagel cave?
Darn.
NESCardinality.
Oh, the death necklace.
Death necklace. Oh, Stone's cave.
Yeah.
Alright, good, thank you. Alright, so we've got level 7 over on Xarnax's side. I saw a 21 HP, which is going to really help. Unfortunately, I did miss a few of the other things. And we've got level 6 over on Lorgon's side.
It looked like the other things were small. That level was all about the HP boost.
Yeah, that is going to be a lot of help, though, for both moving around and even just for fighting some enemies now. Like, something like the Drew and Laura would be a little bit less intimidating. I mean, attack power on them is not so bad, except for when you dodge, perhaps. But with nothing of defense yet, any little bit of HP is going to help you.
Xarnax, with an excellent move on a Druin Lord, recognizing the value of that HP immediately, he has stopped exploring despite literally having found nothing, and he's focusing on getting a little bit more experience for some additional agility and HP, whatever will help him get further.
Though also sometimes it's very tempting to just stick around and fight some very valuable enemies. Here with the wolves, up to NG notes in chat that Xarnax is wolf hunting, and Xarnax says can confirm.
Lorgon getting some excellent distance and still fighting whatever he can along the way. I think a rogue scorpion, I mean, it's gonna be really close. He chooses to run away. That's a tough decision. They're so valuable, but it would have been hard to beat him at that level.
They're very valuable, but they still do hit hard, especially when you have nothing of defense for yourself.
It probably would have been 3 or 4 attacks to beat it. So it would have come down to, you know, how much damage it did.
Ah, good old RNG. So Lorgon's still out with some exploration. Xarnax here being sent home by a green dragon.
How long will it be until our competitors find a useful location? Charlock has been discovered, but not yet useful.
The Big Sea, the dream, where you'll be headed eventually, but not yet. There's a little gap in there, but how do you get into the castle?
Well, you have to build a moat, or failing that...
You have to build a moat? It has a moat.
It has a moat.
How do you get over the moat?
You need to use a bridge, made from the power of rainbows.
Wow, that sounds like something I could enjoy. So, do you just get it from the rain clouds?
Well, you need to draw power from the rain, so you need the elements. You need the sunlight and you need the rain together to form a rainbow drop.
Oh, that sounds nice. And just anyone will do this for anyone?
Oh no, not just anyone.
Oh gosh.
You've got to find the most uptight businessman in the land.
And he'll just do this for any average schmuck like me?
Oh no.
Oh no.
You've got to bring him proof that you're worthy. In this case, Erdrick's token.
Wow. Sounds fancy.
It can only be found in one of, well, very many places in Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
Wow, so you're saying I could find that in a chest, or I could find it just laying on the ground somewhere?
That's correct. Or you could find it in the back of Hawksness, or in Cole, 4 steps south of the fairy bath.
Wow. I am learning so much today. Thank you, NESCardinality.
You're most welcome.
So, looks like we are getting very close to the next level for Lorgon. I think we're only about 16-ish experience away. And Xarnax, in the lovely enemy territory. Alright, so we've got level 7 over here for Lorgon. Little bit of a experience gap, but it's about 150, I want to say. It can sound significant now, but in the end game, well, we'll see what happens later with that.
Xarnax comes right back to this zone to grind some more, and is unfortunately sent back by a green dragon. A decent chance to run away from it right now. Got a little unlucky.
Yeah, the green dragons still sit very hard. Meanwhile, Lorgon, my apologies, seems to really like this area right beside this bridge. Don't blame him, very good views. It's a bridge.
Beta Stripe asks, if it's a fairy bath, why can't we get fairy water from it? The answer is because it's a different type of water than the fairy water. The fairy water repels enemies, whereas the fairy bath actually cures rheumatism. The fairies were set up for anything they needed, trust me.
Yeah, they were really smart that way. Alright, so let's see, I think we're about 75 away, 600 is the next level?
Yes.
Yeah, so 72 away from the next level for Xarnax, and for Lorgon, about 175.
Both racers just about 100 apart. Lorgon still continuing to get that exploration done. And still no new locations. It looks like at level 7, yeah, I'm not surprised Lorgon decides to fight here. Unfortunately only 9, but that's not the end of the story. He is going to take another swipe. And that 5 is going to seal it. unfortunately, even with the sword, both players much weaker than even I anticipated against Rogue Scorpions.
Yeah, I guess they really do have some very high defense, though. I do like the part where both of the racers are deciding to grind, though, here, just because they realize, it's hard to get anywhere with what they've got, but looks like Xarnax is about one enemy away from the next level, and the Magidrake will do it, so, well, want to read some numbers?
I do. Also, it turns out the Rogue Scorpion had hurt, so Lorgon kept fighting it, but unfortunately it also had heal more, so
Alright,
no
so level
victory.
8.
Power 4, Agility 6, HP 1, MP 6.
Alright! I don't think that's going to help a whole lot, but, chipping away a little bit.
So there it is, the Rogue Scorpion with a max HP of 40, 75% heal more, and it's just not an option right now until they either get a lot stronger or get hurt more.
Oh, so look at those stats up there for the Rogue Scorpion. 75% heal more, even with 50% hurt. You don't want to be dealing with that when you're doing so little damage. That is not going to be a winning fight for you. Oh, hey, so we've got a cave over on Lorgon's side. Will we get there?
I was beginning to wonder if these exist.
And it's something dark.
It's Swamp South.
And we've got outside. Wow. So that takes us actually to Swamp North, but we choose not to go through it right now.
It looks like Lorgon wants to verify that this is a quick dead end before going through, and I don't blame him at all. I think I would have done the exact same thing.
Oh, I see a peninsula. However, opting not to explore right now looks like we're going to be getting a little more experience. Oh, we have no MP. That would be why then.
That's totally it. I didn't even realize.
It's almost as if these numbers can tell us things. So either way, I want to imagine that Lorgon might just want to grind a few enemies until we're able to reset and get our MP and possibly even get the next level out of it. Warlocks are friendly that way.
A very valuable Warlock for Lorgon. Both players getting great exploration done and fighting these amazing semi-weak enemies on the way while they're at it. Looks like Xarnax has found yet another grind spot he really likes. Unfortunately, still infested by green dragons, and he elects to move on.
There are dragons in Dragon Warrior.
The rumors were true.
Alright, so, we are... No, we aren't. I was tricked here. Lorgon keeps teasing me with the going into the cave to see what's there, but I feel like grinding is the choice for him right now, and we are seeing that. Xarnax finds another Armored Knight, and the Armored Knight waves around its axe and says, "Hi, I'm rude."
Really interesting decision on Lorgon's side. He's out of MP, very little HP, electing not to go through the cave, and trying to grind something here, I guess trying to get level 8. And it's probably just the Warlocks he was looking for, and it's going to work for him. He's going to get level 8 before the next death.
Yeah, and sounds like a good place to make that happen. So level 8 for Lorgon. We had already seen that on Xarnax's side, so we're going to get, little power and little everything else, not as much HP.
Lorgon's saying he's seen the entire continent, and this is the best zone he found, and you can't fault that. Those Warlocks still worth a ton, despite having Erdrick's sword.
And, oh look, we've got Armored Knights in the Swamp Cave as well. So I think we get to see the castle again.
Both players still within 100 experience, everything's flowing forward nicely, Xarnax continuing to explore that first continent. I imagine Lorgon's gonna head back to the Swamp Cave next.
We get to see that beautiful little, island of swamp across the bridge. Not quite the dream, but it's something. So yeah, now we'll see if Lorgon chooses to explore that swamp cave. Or if Xarnax will find something next. And still, we're able to chip away at, the beginning to mid-game enemies, and they're still just very valuable. Unfortunately, you know what the opposite of value is? It's an Armored Knight encounter at this point in the game.
They really do seem to be all over this map.
Or exactly in this one spot that leads to everything else. That seems to be a bit of an issue. So back to the castle for Xarnax and outside. Yep, and Betastrip puts it well in chat, "Thou hast discovered a bottleneck." And that pretty much does seem to be the case.
I have to admit, in a seed where I start with Erdrick's sword and get the heal spell really early, it's kind of nice that there's a challenge out there as opposed to just blazing through the entire thing. It's unfortunate when it's a random element like an Armored Knight that just keeps sending people back, but hopefully both players can overcome this challenge smoothly. Xarnax finding another Druin Lord, and of course these are much better now than they were a couple levels ago.
Except for when they do a little dodging shimmy like that.
Should be only 3 attacks to win most of the time. Xarnax just being safe and healing in case the Druin Lord dodges again.
We've seen them dodge. And Lorgon appears to be heading back to the Swamp Cave. Will we find something on the other side, or will we find another Armored Knight inside?
It's not even the slightest bit tempting to swing at that green dragon just yet. Xarnax knows we're not quite strong enough to take one on yet.
And another Warlock. They're still so valuable, especially because, you know, their arms, they're kind of noodly, so they don't hit you very hard. So almost to that cave, running from the Druin, getting inside, and this time we do return with MP, so we're able to cast outside and see what's on the other end. And it's bridges! What a beautiful land.
The new version of Dragon Warrior Randomizer has a lot more bridges and rivers and isolated islands across these bridges. It makes for much more interesting exploration, in my opinion. I really like it.
Yeah, it's some good fun. Adds a lot more twists and turns.
Both players fighting tremendously valuable enemies right now. All the enemies in the 40 to 50 experience range are beatable and so valuable right now, and they're sort of on the upper end of what our racers can fight. The enemies that are worth 70 are just barely too hard right now.
So we've, again, got some very nice, you know, mid-enemies over here, and I really like that little, like, you know, red carpet of swamp leading to a bridge. It's beautiful.
How nice.
No, what's not nice? The Axe Knight.
The Druin Lord, however, Lorgon will take this one.
Yeah, again, an excellent choice. And we've still got Xarnax, who is fighting the wolves in this zone here. I think we are 1 or 2 from the next level. No, this one will do it, because I know what numbers are. So let's see what we get with the next level. 5 power, 7 speed, 23 hit points, 6 MP, and a new spell, which is Hurt More.
It's time.
I think some things are going to happen.
Axe Knights are on the table, and of course, this is the gateway to not only passing Armored Knights, but beating them for huge amounts of experience.
Yeah, especially with that HP boost. They are just going to melt very quickly.
We also see Xarnax's agility go into the orange, so he's gonna be have a much easier time running away from things that he doesn't want to fight. And here's our first Armored Knight target. Hurtmore works 15 times out of 16. Both casts work, and Xarnax advances.
And we've got Lorgon just a couple fights away from the next level, possibly even 1 depending what he finds. I believe he's still over on the other island here, and I think the Wyvern's going to do it, so we're both going to be in, you know, zoomies time soon.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of enemies are over here for Lorgon, if there are any Armored Knights, Axe Knights, that kind of thing.
So again, we've got our giant HP and the spell, which is really the exciting time. Let's burn some things.
There are really no roadblocks anymore. I would say red dragons are the only real threat now, so both players are going to be just quickly exploring, opening doors, finding the vital items as quickly as possible, all the while balancing good experience gain with their Hurtmore and Erdrick sword.
Though, we still haven't found a town. They have no way of healing their MP other than death. So they still are going to want to be a little bit, you know, a little bit picky with exactly how they choose to use the MP, depending. Especially in Lorgon's case, when you're a little bit farther away from home, you really don't want to risk dying if you can maintain your position. But oh look, there's a town in the distance! What do you think?
Well, if it's Hawksness, I'm still worried, but we'll see.
I don't know. I'll guess Garenham. Why not?
Xarnax finally defeating a green dragon. That ability granted to him by Hurtmore.
Ah, the revenge. It's a beautiful time. Oh, look, it's Hawksness.
It is Hawksness.
So we're not quite healing up yet, but are we tempted to see what's on the fighting tile? And I think we are.
Having the spell of Hurtmore, it looks like Lorgon will take a look for the information. Who knows how long it'll be before the next town.
Yeah, he'll be able to cast Heal once, and then have 3 potential Hurtmores, so depending on the enemy, you know, we've got about a 50-50 shot of this being a good little time. But we have to get there first, and the Drakies are guarding the enemy.
Drakey's just fluttering about.
You know, they're like getting in your hair.
3 Hurtmores here, very low strength.
And we've got the Armored Knight.
So this decision is gonna pay off for Lorgon, assuming he doesn't get rotten luck. And we'll see if Erdrick's armor is here. That would be yet another huge boost forward. A 1 in 3 chance.
And the second Hurtmore connects, and we will see what is here. Searchy, searchy. The Fairy Flute.
Fairy Flute only usable for golems, but can be extraordinarily valuable if the spike tile in Sharlock happens to be a golem.
Yeah, it's usually the least exciting item you will find in the search spot, but it does have its uses here and there. So we're actually very close right now in experience. We've got 40, actually less than that as that battle concludes, difference between the two of them, and Hurtmore is going to do that.
12 experience separates our competitors, and Lorgon can take a brief lead here by defeating this wolf. If he uses his last Hurtmore, it's up to him. And he runs away.
I assume he wants to save it for something a little heftier, especially if it's your very last one and you're so far from home.
How about 58, Lorgon? Is that enough for you? That's enough for Lorgon to take the lead.
Both racers are actually very close to the next level. If Lorgon can find any of those, just slightly more mid-tier enemies, he'll be fine. Magi-Wyvern, not so much for the sword attacks right now.
By the way, I think I said 58. That's actually how much a Druin Lord is worth. Wyvern is worth in the low 60s.
But still very nice.
Absolutely.
The Droll here can give Lorgon the level. And speaking of the level, Xarnax has hit that. What do we get?
1, 2, 2 HP, 0 MP. And it looks like Repel was learned.
I saw Repel in there. And Lorgon hits level 10 as well, very close to each other. I mean, the racers pretty much are about 1 enemy apart from each other experience-wise. Okay, maybe 2, depending on your enemy.
Xarnax says, thank goodness for Repel, now finally able to avoid those annoying weak enemies that are now no longer worth their time, now that they have Hurtmore.
Yeah, Repel is a really nice spell to pair with Hurtmore. Alright, so looks like Lorgon was sent home, and now we're back on the first continent. So what will we do? Are we going to go through the swamp cave again, or are we going to look for greener pastures over here?
Isn't it amazing to have so much exploration happening, to have both players having the sword, Hurtmore, keys, not a single healing town found yet, and we're almost a half an hour in.
And no armor or anything else for that matter, too.
This could be one of those towns with, one of those seeds with Townsville in a corner with 3 or more towns on screen.
Ah, the Alefgard metropolis. They've got good shopping.
I don't think I've ever seen more than 3 towns on one screen at once. Maybe we'll see 4 in this seed, who knows?
That's kind of the dream. So Xarnax has taken a little bit of a lead here, but that's mostly just some Hurtmore variants. I think we're going to be very close. So I'm kind of wondering here, if there really isn't too much else to do on the first continent. Lorgon also might just want to be looking over here and covering more of the items over here. Xarnax saw the town, or rather the cave on his end here, and he's going to be checking out the swamp cave as well. Bonk and a little, we've probably figured out now that we are at the swamp south.
No magic for outside, but I'm sure Xarnax will still walk through.
It's still a good walk to do. You never know what you'll find. Oh my, so blue dragons for the Dragon Lord breath. That's a little spicy.
Our first DL2 breath comes from a blue dragon and sends Xarnax back home.
Ah, now these rogue scorpions. They're a lot nicer to deal with at this point.
Xarnax momentarily forgetting about Repel, running away from a Drakey, and now a blue slime.
I think he'll remember Repel very shortly.
Blue dragons with 50% DL2 breath. Not too bad, but definitely a possibility of worry in Sharlock.
Yeah, and that is still almost a one-hit kill for our runners, so it's, very, very not nice to have to deal with. especially when your only spell is, your only healing ability is heal itself, which will not get you quite up there.
I should look at these stats more often. I had no idea a blue dragon could have as much as 98 HP. I thought its max was maybe 90.
Oh, we've got another town on Lorgon's side, and we know we're going to be able to heal here, so, you know, something exciting. It's a nice little checkpoint. But we have to get there first.
Lorgon, with only 3 Hurtmores left, very happy to see a healing point to chain his exploration.
And you know, when you're about 3 steps away, you can definitely use one on the Magiwyvern, which I believe is the most experience you can get from an enemy to be guaranteed killed by Hurtmore. So what we've got? Scarnham. It's the 2 towns we wanted.
Nice, excellent move from Xarnax to take down a werewolf, another 95 experience. Lorgon getting some stuff from the shop, starting with a dragon scale.
Which he dons.
Getting a torch, I like this. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who buys more torches than he needs.
Torches are great and useful and also make Gwaelin happy. So look on Xarnax's side, 11 power, 2 speed, 4 hit points, 6 MP, and some sort of spell. We'll find out later. Radiant, I think I saw in there. And let's see, what do we have for gold? Got 1400, so there's a few things you could buy here. Let's see. Copper sword is not a thing you want because you have the Erdrick sword. Small shield is about the only thing you can buy there, so he's just kind of going to say no thank you.
Not sure why I didn't buy the small shield, though.
Time. Money.
Frames.
Frames.
I think it's more frames than money.
I mean, is the small shield really going to make that much of a difference to you when you plan on probably buying a better one in the future?
That's the argument. Lorgon probably just checking to see if there was a silver shield there, or maybe a large shield.
Large one even, yeah.
Which is the ultimate destination if there's no gold grind.
So in the chest back here, we've got 2 golds and a key. And we are exiting? Alley-oop, back in. Probably a mistake, but maybe he wants to buy something? Nope. But that's okay, we've replenished our key.
Oopsies can happen.
Yeah. That's what I like to call the little alley-oop. We do have more money, though. And more key. It could be a slow gold grind. Oh, perhaps it was the full plate that was here, actually. When I was glancing, I actually thought it was the half plate, which is why, I thought that was a mistake. But now realizing it was the full plate, that makes 100% sense, and very nice play by Lorgon there. So meanwhile, on Xarnax's side, I'm noticing a few caves there. We found the Jerk Cave, who will make you that rainbow drop we were talking about. And another cave over here, which is dark.
Thank you.
But we've got Radiant. It's the Tablet Cave. What's in the Tablet Cave?
No monsters.
Wow. Very safe.
Therefore, no possibility of death warping to set up a gold grind, which you could do if, say, for example, the Stones of Sunlight Cave is in the basement of Tantagel. We'll see what this one chest has to offer Xarnax. And
meanwhile, on Lorgon's side, looks like we have got the Mountain Cave, which offers you 5 chests, but is a very nice short walk for those 5 chests. Sorry, did you catch what was at the bottom of the tablet there?
Gold.
Nice. We have rich players. So first chest in the Mountain Cave, we've got the Silver Harp. Well, I hear that's really good for making dragons happy. So we've got a town over on Xarnax's side, and some stairs on Lorgon's side. Let's see what's in the bottom chests. We get an herb. We get a dragon scale, though previously donned already. Can you put on the dragon scale again for more defense?
No, you cannot.
Darn.
But you can sell it at the very beginning if you need that extra little chunk of gold and not lose the defense once you've donned it once.
Nice. So we've got the town of Remulder over for Xarnax. We get to use 2 keys for some gold.
There's just gold everywhere in this seed. Really smart of Lorgon to use it for that full plate. Just took a moment there. That's gonna help with exploration and getting through caves like the Mountain Cave.
Alright, so Xarnax is going to check out the armor shop over there. Meanwhile, Lorgon finds a torch. We've got a very rich shop over here in this town. Xarnax purchases a large shield and a half plate. Some good purchases there. It's going to take him, you know. They're actually clothed now, so that's very nice.
I guess there isn't a gold grind in this seed. We've already seen the treasury.
But all the money is everywhere else.
Xarnax says Lorgon has the small shield, but I'm not sure if he actually bought it or not. Oh yeah, he did. Sorry. Good call.
Alright, so one more chest in the mountain cave for Lorgon. Just snaking our way around this last little spot here, and we find... da-da-da-da! The magic key.
It's golden keys everywhere in this seed.
So 2 keys are actually behind the locked door in Garenham.
Lorgon acquiring the silver harp out of that cave. No stones of sunlight yet, and of course we still don't know where the armor or token are.
Though we still have Caitlin and Cole at large. Now, we found, I believe we've only found 1 cursed belt so far, which means, you know, we're guaranteed to have an item in one search spot, but we do know the fairy flute was one of them, so we have yet to find out about the other.
Axe Knight on Xarnax's side, very appealing for Hurtmore, whereas the less appealing Golem on Lorgon's side he runs away from and finds Breckenary.
And he leaves Breckenary. I mean, it would have been a more exciting town if it was the first healing town that we found, but it was the second, so it's kind of overshadowed by anything else we can be doing right now.
Yeah, he could have checked for a large shield, but again, that's not of the utmost importance right now. He hasn't even found Caitlin yet, and that's a thing I do as well. When I haven't found Caitlin, I sort of expect to find everything I need in Caitlin.
So unfortunately, Lorgon also has found out that the Blue Dragons have the Dragon Lord breath and is sent home because, well, it hurts. It hurts a lot. So I've sort of lost track of experience here. Let's see, Xarnax is just about getting to the next level.
Xarnax has a bit of a lead. Lorgon is not far behind and progressing very smoothly. I guess it's about 700. I actually didn't realize it was 700, but Lorgon has an exploration lead, which probably detracted from experience getting through that mountain cave. Not everything was valuable in there. And of course, you needed the mountain cave for the silver harp, so Xarnax will be going there later.
It's give and take, you know. If you're exploring, you might not be grinding so much, but either way, you know, it just sort of depends on what sort of enemies are in which spot. So we've got Xarnax in the town of Garenham now and has officially donned the scale of the dragon. You have to remember to put that on or you don't get your defense boost.
It's not enough to just hold it or put it on your shoulder. You must don it.
Oh, very important. So a little nap here for Xarnax. We are probably going to be seeing a very, you know, similar thing to what just happened for Lorgon. So again, we find Gold Key Gold as we've been through. Lorgon now taking a walk through the swamp cave and going to see what the enemy is, and hey, it's another armored knight.
Always valuable.
Yeah, and even sometimes, depending on how things are for you in the race, sometimes it might even just be appealing to take a few of these on right away, especially when you know somewhere you can heal so you can get some experience out of it.
It's really interesting watching these shifts as we prepare for... This is possibly an equalizing moment as Xarnax is catching up in the mountain cave and Lorgon fighting an armored knight and now a warlock catching up in experience. Things are going to be very close when all is said and done.
But it looks like we might have a princess rescue on our hands, possibly preemptive, you know, princess rescue so you're able to get the coordinates later. And ouch, unfortunately on Xarnax's side, I believe we have another spicy blue dragon yelling at you.
Still a point of danger, and we see it here. Xarnax will have to go back to the mountain cave to retrieve that silver harp, and I'm sure he'll check the other chests as well.
Aw, so look at that. I'm so happy. Gwaelin in the hero's arms, going on an adventure. It's very romantic. They're going on a nice, you know, forest walk.
Hey, wow, it's the hero and the hero's great times 15 grandfather.
And yet somehow they're in the same time.
In the same world.
Woo! So we've got the town of Cole over here, and we've found Erdrick's token.
So this means the armor will be on the map, and both racers will have to find Caitlin and get the coordinates to find out exactly where it is. Lorgon, he knew the token was likely to be in one of those two spots, so there was a very good chance that he'd need the princess, unless the coordinates were close. I just noticed the in message is different in Lorgon's version. I never noticed that before.
Oh, what did it say?
It said something like, "Thou seems to have had a good night, I hope."
Huh. Interesting.
They don't say "I hope" in the North American version.
Wow. Well, we have learned. Anyway, I didn't mean to be stalling a little bit here, but on Xarnax's side, he did find level 12 here, and meanwhile, Lorgon has found the Jerk Cave and trying to remember what the other one, the Tablet Cave over here, where Xarnax had found them previously.
Lord of the Synth says it adds "I hope" if you have Gwaelin.
Oh!
If that's true, I had no idea, and I'm totally shocked. I'm learning new things about this game literally every year, despite having speedrun it and tons of other stuff for the past 5 years.
Gosh. Well, that is a cool scandal. Anyway, so we've got Tablet over here. The princess is very safe in the hero's arms with no enemies around. And looks like Xarnax... I think Xarnax is kind of honing in on where we found Hawksness on Lorgon's side earlier, though I think was over to the east, so it depends if there's somewhere to go west as well.
Well, Lorgon, I don't think it said "I shall see thee again," so it might actually save you frames. We're gonna have to do some science later.
Oh gosh, yeah, this is very important science to look into. So yeah, Xarnax is about to see Hawksness right over here, and if we've got some MP, we're probably going to see something very similar. And looks like he chose even not to fight that Magiwyvern, which probably turns out to be a good decision here. Just, you know, for the extra MP in case it is Hawksness, and it is, and well, I mean, we know what's over here already, but Xarnax is going to find out for himself right now.
A valuable armored knight guarding a potentially not so valuable fairy flute.
And then Sherlock with 100% golems. Of course, that's not too scary either, because generally they're easy to run from, but you know.
Even with low agility, golems are fairly easy to run from, but of course if it were 100%, they would want that flute for sure.
Alright, and Xarnax searches the spot and discovers the fairy flute. We already knew that was there, but hey.
This looks like a new town on Lorgon's side, and it is... oh no, it's Grinham.
Might just take another little snooze over here, replenish the MP.
I was hoping... Oh
no!
Don't do it! I want to see the message!
Oh my gosh, woman, please.
There you go.
Sorry, folks, inn's full. This is a really small inn. Alright, we must see this.
Thou hast had a good night's sleep, I hope.
I shall see thee again.
That's really interesting. It kind of makes sense, because the other message is "thou seems to have had a good night," the implication being that he takes a look at you and you look well rested. But if you're two people, it doesn't really make as much sense to say that, and it's really interesting that the programmers would actually include that.
They thought about it.
They thought of everything.
So I think for Xarnax, on Xarnax's side, I actually saw the backside of Sherlock Castle just for a second across the river. Oh, so on Lorgon's side, we found the, Staff of Rain cave. How do you get the Staff of Rain?
Well, you bring the silver harp to the man in the Shrine Cave. It's just called the Shrine in Dragon Warrior. And he will let you exchange it for the Staff of Rain, which you need. You don't actually need the silver harp, unless maybe your castle is surrounded by swamp and you have very little strength and you need to kill a metal slime or something.
Or, you know, you just feel like making a red dragon look happy. I have some ideas. So back to start for Xarnax. Seems to be taking a few more deaths over here, but is still maintaining the experience lead.
It's gonna narrow a bit here from this armored knight, and it's very interesting. You can just see how close everything is right now. Still a few more things to explore. Neither player has found Caitlin. We need that armor. And I'm not sure about anything else. We've seen the Jerk Cave. That might actually be it. Well, there's the Stones of Sunlight as well. That could be in Garen's grave. We'll see.
Yeah, I think isn't the grave the last treasure chest for us to find outside of Sherlock?
It is now, yeah.
Is this the grave here?
Is it?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
I think that was actually the last cave for us to enter, so it was sort of process of elimination at this point. But let's see what we get. It's very nice to not have to search for the sword, by the way, just because if you don't think you have to go down to the bottom of the grave, that's always kind of nice. At this point, unless you're hunting out the fighter's ring, you can pretty much stop as soon as you find the stones, I think? Yeah, because we have found the token, and the armor cannot be in a chest.
There's an argument to be made for, like, if the stones were in the first chest here, Lorgon would open all of them looking for the fighter's ring. But other than that, we have everything that could be in a chest.
But looks like we're going for a little more of a walk. And Xarnax, meanwhile, I believe this is the swamp cave. And we are checking out the tile enemy as well, which, again, Armored Knight. Do we get a princess rescue on this side as well?
Only time will tell. It's just a grind for now for Xarnax. Armored Knights in both spike tiles.
But I mean, you can't fault anyone for this decision. It's some good, fast experience, and there's a lot to be said for, you know, just getting a level or two out of the way, and hopefully perhaps being able to find heal more, especially when, you know, the deaths have not been so kind. But when are the deaths so kind? So down to the chest over here for Lorgon. Open it up. And we found the fighter's ring, so that's a nice little bonus. You know that the key item is on the bottom of here, but the fighter's ring is very good. And there's our princess rescue on Xarnax's side. We have, well... Is this two family members fighting over Gwaelin? We could write some fan fiction about this.
So Xarnax, already anticipating potentially needing the coordinates, is going to make use of that option by returning the princess immediately.
I like this play.
I don't think I've ever seen a race where both players returned Gwaelin to the king after fighting the Dragon Lord. That's not a possibility anymore. But Lorgon might also have to return the princess for the coordinates as well. We'll have to see. Yeah,
depending on what the coordinates turn out to be. I mean, that's definitely happened to me before, where sometimes I've just preemptively rescued the princess for good measure, and, you know, of course, to be a gentleman. And then you just find that the coordinates are like 7 east, and you're like, well, you're coming with me, girl. It's a good adventure, though. Though I do like the play on Xarnax's side, just to return her right away, and then, you know, be prepared as soon as you find the coordinates. So Lorgon picks up the Stones of Sunlight at the bottom of the grave, which we did know that they were there.
The very last treasure chest has been opened.
And I think there is exactly zero reason to open up any in Sherlock Castle as it is. We've got everything we need. Anything we could potentially need.
It's all about Cantlin now for Lorgon. And again, we're seeing these diverging yet equalizing factors. Lorgon has more exploration done cave-wise. Xarnax still with an experience lead. And we're going to see how those two things balance out as we move forward.
But first, level 13. Got 2 power, 3 speed, 1 hit point, and 9 MP. Just another level.
Interesting to note, neither player has Heal More yet, a necessary spell for beating the Dragon Lord, essentially. Unless you grind all the way up to the higher levels. So, looking very likely that there will be more grinding to come.
Alright, so Lorgon's taking a little peek in the Breckenry Armory now. Do not find a bigger shield, which I assume is the only thing that he was really looking for. So the last question then is just, where is Cantlin? Got the grave over here, and it opens up into a lot longer of a space with, hey look, a bunch of swamp.
Very important to find that narrow passageway, and Lorgon could find Cantlin down south here.
Oh yeah, mistakes can definitely be made by, you know, missing like a couple tile peninsula. Though I think over here on Xarnax we find coal, and so we know we're going to be picking up the token over here in a moment. Lorgon, continuing the search, I believe there is Canlin, actually. I was going to say, I think it's the very last thing for us to find, and indeed, there we are. One poltergeist!
Haunting the town.
Yeah. Not very well, though, if it runs right away. So, yeah, I was going to assume he was going to be checking the town for a large shield, and there we go. There's a silver shield, but I think that's a little rich for our blood right now. So check in our keys. You can always buy more behind this door, but it's always nice to double check just in case you think you might need some later. Checking the shop over here, originally where you can only get the silver shield. In the vanilla game, you can find it in many places now, apparently.
The joys of Randomizer.
And looking down here, only a small shield as far as shields go.
So will Lorgon check for a large shield? If he knows which towns he hasn't checked, he might check one that's on the way. But otherwise, I think he'll just go with the small shield. But we'll see.
But for now, let's find out what our coordinates are. How far are we going to have to walk, and how much are we going to need Gwaelin?
The last piece of information that we don't yet have in this seed. 22 south, 11 west, very easy to walk, and Lorgon just might fight the Dragon Lord with the princess in his arms.
Oh, I want to see that. But I always want to see that. Alright, so healing up a few times, and I think we're going to be seeing a count in a moment here. And we've got the slime, but it's very shy. Okay, real talk, I actually kind of like counting on Swamp, because it makes it easier to count, because it makes the sound for you.
Oh yeah, same thing with hills, just stopping you on those frames. I use that to just walk straight without hesitating at all. Now it looks like the south is too far south. I don't know if that's the other continent or not. But it looks like Lorgon is going to try and wind around the other... Oh, maybe not.
No, I think we're actually going to be having to do the princess, taken back over here, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like I was wrong about this one. Just because it's close to home doesn't mean it's immediately accessible.
I mean, even if you can just, sort of look on the other side and maybe see the other land, you can, count it out. But a lot of the time, if you're standing right there holding the princess, you might just want to say, hey, do you mind to just go home here and give me a little present?
An understandable decision on Lorgon's part.
But why is it? Why do we drop off this princess? What does she do?
The princess gives you a token of her love, and the token also acts as a compass. That will tell you how far away you are from home in 2 different directions. So, it's the tool used for finding whatever item is buried somewhere on the grounds of Alefgard.
Nice. But wait, what happens if your inventory's full?
Well, if your inventory's full, she's gotta take something from you.
Rude!
And it's going to be something that you were able to purchase, most likely. There are ways to force her to take... apparently, she can take the Staff of Rain. That's totally a programming error. Fortunately, we haven't seen anyone soft-lock their game that way yet, but... Yeah, if you have a torch, she's gonna take a torch.
And it's really brutal if that's the one you're saving for the Dragon Lord's castle. It's like, girl, please.
After that, there's, Dragon Scale, Fighter's Ring, Fairy Water... And then after that, we get up to things like the Cursed Belt.
The dream. Yeah, there actually is a flag on the randomizer where the game will end if you give the princess a cursed belt, though the way to do that is you have to fill your inventory with cursed belts. It's an interesting thing.
Now, Xarnax certainly has a significant experience lead, but I guarantee you it's not as big as it looks right now because Xarnax still has to explore for the Stones of Sunlight, as well as pick up that armor. And that's going to equalize things. Lorgon is going to be able to start grinding earlier, and that's going to narrow the gap, and we'll just have to see how close it is when our paths converge.
So we're going on some adventures here. Lorgon does find the Jerk Cave, and with all the enemies, with all the items in hand, we are able to pick up the Rainbow Drop, and also checking Gwaelin's Love, and let's see where we are. So the castle is 15 to the north and 78 to the east.
Now that's a bit of a long walk.
A few more steps to go, though actually the north and south is pretty close. Meanwhile, Xarnax just hit level 14. Still no heal more, unfortunately.
Xarnax saying he didn't want to explore the mountain cave until he got heal more because of the blue dragons. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Of course, Xarnax could stop and do some grinding before continuing to explore for the necessary items. That also makes total sense. But sooner or later, we will get that moment where Lorgon is grinding while Xarnax is exploring, and again, the experience difference should get a little bit narrower.
Yeah, all the convergence of just the different things to do can get interesting that way. So still going on a walk here. We've got a really big river over here. So why can't the Rainbow Drop build a bridge over that?
I mean, it should be able to. I've never scienced how the Rainbow Drop is programmed, but I think you have to be right next to the one square where it's usable.
The magical moat. Alright, so we've got Lorgon just doing a wee bit of shopping here and taking a nap. Looks like Xarnax is hungry for more armored knights.
And there, I was gonna say, Lorgon, I was silent because I was watching the text, and sure enough, it's now confirmed. Of course, Lord of the Synth already knew, but I had never seen that before, and I cannot believe I never noticed. There's so much more to learn about this game, guys.
Well, to be fair, I think when you're actually playing the game yourself, even if you have the princess, you know, you're probably very focused on just like mash, 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 run, 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 run. So we're just gonna be a couple steps away from the armor now. Of course, it's, you know, in the middle of the swamp somewhere. And there we are. So with the armor now, we have protection from the swamp. Like, you'll see now, not only do you not take any damage while walking on the swamp, but you heal 1 MP per step you take.
And now Lorgon, the only thing Lorgon doesn't have is a large shield, and again, I'm anticipating the possibility that he won't go look for one. Being at level 12 with already more agility than strength, I suspect he's just going to see how the levels go, unless, again, there's just one town that he didn't check and it's sort of on the way, then he might take a peek.
So question from Ruler in chat, what's new about the inn text? Some of us have just learned today that the innkeeper tells you a slightly different thing when you visit the inn and you are carrying the princess with you.
Absolutely shocking. I didn't think the game would recognize something like that at all.
But that's a really neat feature. They really thought about it.
It's barely even different, and yet it's so different.
So we've got a little more than a 2,000 difference between our two players now, though also another difference is that Lorgon has all of the needed items to get into in fighting Sherlock, except for maybe a shield upgrade. Xarnax still does have some missions to go on to be able to do that.
Xarnax getting some good enemies essentially while Lorgon was exploring for the armor, maybe not finding as many, but now Lorgon is on his way to that grind, and we're gonna see what happens here. I do suspect a narrowing of the gap, and this could be a very close finish.
Yeah, and now just the answer really is, you know, when exactly is the right level to go. And, you know, as you can see, we're very, very far away on our strength. And none of our stats are quite there yet, but the strength is, gosh, we're very happy that we've got a, you know, a hurt-moreable enemy here.
in either spot, so whichever one is more convenient, it's player's choice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I want to assume that the Swamp Cave one is a little closer to a healing town than Hawksness was, but it's sometimes a little hard to get the proper perspective on that when you're not racing yourself. Yeah, it did feel to me that Hawksness was very far north, away from the other things, so that does make a lot of sense. Lorgon was just noting in chat where it was. Again, it's, you know, it's a special occasion here when this race was done earlier in the day, and yet now we are rebroadcasting it, and, you know, we actually do get to have the runners in chat with us, giving us some insight about, you know, their thoughts. That's, you know, a unique situation. I'm enjoying this. So meanwhile, while we're just doing a little bit of grindy work here, I'm just going to remind everybody you should probably follow our wonderful runners. We've got Lorgon and Xarnax42 here, and then over here I've got NESCardinality with me on the commentary. I'm Sparkover, and also we've got Lord of the Synth on tracking, and there's also some bear doing the restreaming. They're pretty cool too. Hint, I'm the bear! We've got a lovely team of people in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community who work very hard to get these races broadcast for everybody, and it's a lot of fun, and it's just great to see that, you know, so many people will dedicate their time into putting this on, so thank you all for being here as well watching.
So both players are focused on the Armored Knight grind at the moment, and this is a moment where Lorgon has to walk away to heal, opting to heal because there's a town nearby as opposed to a death warp, which would be less convenient in this particular instance. So Xarnax is going to gain a little bit in lead right now, and then he's going to have to leave, and Lorgon will be grinding, and that'll return to normal.
But the question then is, when does Xarnax choose to go on the adventure? And I want to assume the answer is when we get heal more, and 50-50 chance that it'll be at the next level, which is one Armored Knight away. So Randomizer, in its early stages, you could learn spells at any level. Eventually, when we realized there were so many spots where you would not get, you know, heal more until you were like level in the 20s or so, when you were, you know, clear past Dragon Lord ability, it was changed that you were guaranteed to learn all of your spells by level 16. So, is it time? Let's find out. Little wee level here and a new spell, and with that being the last one to learn, we've learned heal more, and I think Xarnax might choose to go on a bit of an adventure.
This play by Xarnax had absolutely no drawbacks. It was perfectly logical. The stats are so far from being enough. It was just so likely that he would need to grind whatever it would take to get those last 1 or 2 levels for heal more. And so it was basically guaranteed that he wouldn't lose any time doing this. He got to grind at some point. Might as well do it now, and now he's going to have heal more for cave exploration.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a panic when, you know, you're ready to fight the Dragon Lord and you don't have the required items you need to get there, but your stats are, like, way beyond what you want. So, I mean, in this situation, it really worked for him. The only thing that we're really having approaching, you know, anything useful is our HP is past the point where, you know, you'll safely fight the Dragon Lord. But on that note, on this, we might even be able to be seeing the use of the Death Necklace here. But yeah, no drawback from Xarnax for his decision there, and now we're off exploring again. I assume to check the mountain cave again, and then of course find the remaining caves that we didn't find before.
Yeah, Xarnax still has to go all the way down to the bottom of the grave as well as through the mountain cave. So don't let the experience lead fool you. 2,000 experience goes quickly when grinding Armored Knights. I still think this is going to be extremely close.
So we've got level 14 now on Lorgon's side over here. Still no heal more, but, you know, we're going to be seeing this a lot over here for a bit. The Armored Knight. So that Death Necklace thing, that sounds kind of scary.
It is scary.
Yeah?
Imagine going into the mountain cave in the original game and picking up a Death Necklace. and looking at it and wondering what you should do with this, and then using it because you always use items in RPGs when you find them, and discovering that it just curses you, and you can't enter your home castle.
What?
And the king won't heal you.
What was I talking about earlier then, saying using the death necklace?
Well, you see, Sparkover, in Dragon Warrior Randomizer specifically, the Death Necklace was enhanced to give you 10 attack power at the cost of 1/4 of your maximum HP.
Wow.
And so it creates an interesting dynamic. When you have enough HP, you can actually use it to be stronger against the Dragon Lord. And indeed, there are some other slightly less common but possible situations as well, where either you have so much HP you just want to use the Death Necklace right away to make grinding faster, or you want to use the Death Necklace so you can have just enough strength to beat a metal slime in 1 or 2 attacks.
Well, that's really great that you get all those benefits with no downside whatsoever.
No downside whatsoever. That's pushing it a little.
What? I mean, McGrew wouldn't keep the curse in there, would he?
Of course he would.
Yeah, so there still is always the chance of not being able to get into the Tantagel Castle, so you do have to weigh your options depending, but for the most part, it's very common for people to just use it right before the Dragon Lord and usually be safe with that.
If you do get cursed, you can get uncursed in Brecconary. I think it's important. Brecconary still has to be useful for something.
Oh, it is useful. It's very useful. People give Brecconary such a hard time, and it has its great things. So anyway, in our little talking about the Death Necklace here, very educational, by the way, thank you, Xarnax has discovered Cantlin, and on the way did see the Cave of the Grave.
So this is a lot. Xarnax has to get the coordinates, find the armor, go to the mountain cave, go to the grave, and I'm not even sure if he's seen the grave yet or not. I don't think he has, so a little bit more exploration as well. Again, we are in for a very close race. It's time for Lorgon to start catching up with those armored knights.
But wait, what's Lorgon doing? He's just entering the town over and over again.
Oh my goodness, is Lorgon going for a silver shield? It looks like it. And there's a key in there so he can do this very efficiently. This is a very interesting decision. Over 1,000 gold per visit. This is not going to take him too long, and I really like the ingenuity. I don't think I even would have considered this possibility.
Yeah, with 2 gold chests and a key in there, you're never, you're not going to run out of keys, and the money's going to, pile up a little bit well, and given that, he wasn't too far away from the silver shield amount of money, I don't think it's too bad. Kind of questionable. I mean, I think if he had the large shield, then maybe I would wonder a little bit more about that, but because he's using the small shield right now, it's really not that bad. It's a big amount of defense that we'll be getting there here.
And I'm guessing, based on the comments in chat, that Xarnax is interpreting one or both of the coordinates the opposite way, and is gonna lose a little bit of extra time going to the other direction.
Yeah, so it's always a little confusing. You get the coordinates that tell you exactly where the item is, and then Gwaelin sort of gives you the opposite coordinates because she's telling you where you are in relation to the castle and therefore her.
I can remember doing this on 2 different occasions just off the top of my head. It definitely happens to many people.
So with the coordinates saying 11 west and Gwaelin saying 11 west, you actually want her to be saying the opposite thing. But it's a very easy mistake to make every once in a while, I think. So Lorgon, I think, will just need one more little trip to the chests here to get the silver shield. It's been a little bit of a grind, and we're almost there. So I think in this swamp is actually where the armor ends up being. This looks familiar to me from before, and of course, we're only about 20 steps off, so that would make sense. And yeah, Xarnax says in chat, at least I stayed on this continent, and yes, that is very important with that. It would have been a very long walk to come back and do that. So just a couple steps away, and with searching in the swamp, Xarnax finds the armor, and of course we are right beside the grave here, which I believe is the last piece of the puzzle for him now.
Really convenient.
Oh wait, except we have to go back to Mountain Cave.
Yes, but this is really convenient. No more exploration required. I believe Xarnax has seen everything he needs to see. Now it's just about exploration.
And with the proximity, of course, you know, being right beside the grave, it sort of does make sense to make the plane here just because, you know, you're right here and the Mountain Cave is further away.
If by exploration I mean spelunking.
Well, close enough. So Xarnax, looking at the top 3 chests here, I believe there was nothing of importance in the top over here. It was just the bottom 2 that were very nice. Oh, I suppose since we found Edric's token in a search spot, the Dragon Lord is actually hoarding one of the cursed belts.
Oh, nice. Xarnax opting to hoard some more torches than he's going to need. And again, this was a habit of mine, especially very early on in Randomizer. I remember I made it a standard to buy 4 torches at the beginning of the game.
So meanwhile, through the adventures of Xarnax in the grave, Lorgon has purchased the Silver Shield and now has the most powerful equipment in the game. We are ready to grind. There's a little bit more to go before we can actually beat the game, folks.
Yeah, now we have to see what kind of random stats our players gain in the next few levels, how soon they can go and beat the Dragon Lord. Our stats are not high enough just yet. Currently, neither player has enough strength to even do more than 1 damage to the Dragon Lord per attack.
But hey, we've got Hurtmore. What else do you need?
That's it. We could win.
Technically, yes, but very unlikely. Hurtmore will only hit the Dragon Lord every 1 in 16 times. If by every 1 in 16, I mean each chance has a 1 in 16 shot of hitting it. Actually, if you did do it every 1 in 16 times, that could be okay in some situations. But no, that's not how stats work. Also, yes, noted by Lorgon in chat, no Healmore yet, but as we know from Xarnax's level, Healmore itself is not going to be enough to win this. Up to NG in chat says, I saw someone beat DL2 on level 7. Sounds suspicious. How could anyone ever do that? And the answer is, for the vanilla version of this run, there is a manipulated version which beats the game in, I think, around 25-ish minutes? I don't remember exactly the world record, but somewhere in there. It's a very interesting yet different run from the non-manipulated vanilla version. Alright, so Xarnax is making the way over to the bottom chest, has the fighter's ring now, and is going to be picking up the stones very soon.
I like the soons of Stonelight.
They're a little different, but I don't think the jerk will take them in. And with that, he drops the fighter's ring because you still gain the bonus from it, and picks up the stones. So last order of business for Xarnax, he is going to have to pick up that harp, get that that staff of rain, and then exchange it all for the rainbow drop.
Meanwhile, the armored knights picking up for Lorgon. Lorgon was 2 levels behind before, now only 1 level behind. And of course, it's getting close.
Yeah, the gap is still about 2,000, but after that Silver Shield play, Lorgon really has nothing else to do other than gain levels. Xarnax still has a few chores to do as well, so the experience he gains is mostly going to have to do with whatever enemies we will see along the way. Xarnax just doing a little bit of shopping over here. And Lorgon hoping to cut that experience gap.
So Lorgon explaining that he's hoping that the Silver Shield will mean fewer in-trips for this grind. And I like the concept behind that idea because he has a lot of HP, and that means he can stay longer for these grinds in general. Each heal more is going to be more valuable, and it could end up working out that way. He's going to take like a lot less damage because he had the small shield before. This does make a big difference, and it could allow him to grind faster. And of course, the more he has to grind, the more benefit he's going to receive from this decision.
So question in chat, does Xarnax have the silver harp? Not yet. There was a very unfortunate death to a blue dragon with Dragonlord breath a while ago, which deterred him from returning to the mountain cave. But yes, we expect he will probably pick it up pretty soon. Let's watch and find out. Right now on Dragon Warrior Randomizer. I don't entirely remember where on the map the mountain cave is, but I trust that Xarnax knows where he's headed. Lorgon healing up, going back to the inn. I believe it's just 2 armored knights away from the next level, but we do know we are going to be, grinding after that. Some more. And that's okay.
Xarnax, of course, will just pick up the silver harp and then leave the mountain cave promptly, as he doesn't need anything, and the harp is on the top floor. Lorgon able to narrow the gap significantly already, and back to the mountain cave, or the swamp cave rather, for another fresh round. Hoping to run away from this blue dragon, no problem there.
We're back to grinding for Lorgon and back to exploring for Xarnax. Soon he will find the mountain cave. There are only so many caves left. Oh, I think actually, I just remembered where the mountain cave is. That's okay. No spoilers in chat. We'll find out soon. Meanwhile, Lorgon is hit level 15 and is given the news that we're still going to be grinding a little bit more.
Xarnax still finding decent enemies on the way. That Axe Knight is really valuable. It doesn't take long to beat. Only a single hurt more will often defeat an Axe Knight. And they're worth close to as much as Armored Knights. Fairly close.
And now our experience gap has fallen to about 1100, I think. Again, with Lorgon now able to focus on just the grinding, it's going to be, closing that gap closer and closer. Still finding some good hurt-moreable enemies for Xarnax. Of course, most of the endgame enemies are still going to offer some decent experience for the hurt-more as well, and that's okay for exploring. But at the same time, you don't want to use all of your resources, just so you're able to actually survive. Back to healing for Lorgon now.
It's never easy for me to keep track of where locations are on a seed that I haven't played when 2 people are racing it and I'm focused on, all the things they're gaining and the experience, the spells and everything. So I'm not sure exactly where the mountain cave is, but hopefully Xarnax finds it soon.
I feel like he's gonna find it really soon.
Oh, it's in Grinham! There we go.
Yeah, that's why I was having trouble placing it on the map. I realized the cave itself isn't on the outside map. But this is going to be a pretty quick trip for him since, again, the very first chest is the one. with a flash of light, the cave is lit up, and, well, we'll be getting our final item soon.
Lorgon has narrowed the experience lead to within 1,000. Meanwhile, Xarnax very close to finishing his collection. He knows where the jerk cave is. It won't be long until he gets back to grinding.
I don't know, this jerk seems kind of helpful. Why are we calling him such names?
We talked about that earlier.
It was a slightly different conversation.
Oh, well, his jerkiness specifically.
Yes.
I mean, you'd have to ask him why he's such a jerk, but for whatever reason, if you don't have Erdrick's token, he will act like you are just terrible and worthless and will cast you out. But then, you come to him with the token, he gives you the rainbow drop, and if you dare to waste his time talking to him again, he'll say, "Thou hast no business here, go away."
You must leave the cave.
But he won't cast you out.
No.
Because you're at least worthy.
So just a couple more chores on Xarnax's end over here. We're going to be exchanging this silver harp for the Staff of Rain, and then we'll be visiting the jerk. Xarnax still in the experience lead, but again with Lorgon focusing on just the Armored Knights is doing a very good job at catching up over here. Looks like about 500 in between the two of them now. And that's only a few Armored Knights. Let's look at the stats of this Armored Knight here. No special abilities, just fight and more fight. But what percentages are those?
99 max HP, again a stat I did not know exactly. Interestingly enough, I do think I knew the Red Dragon. I think they have a max of 107 specifically. But there you see extreme stop spell resist on the Armored Knights, and I'm not sure if that's an automatic feature in Randomizer, where if an enemy does not have a spell, it's really hard to stop spell them. I don't know yet. I have noticed a pattern when I try to stop spell enemies before seeing a spell, it always seems really hard to stop spell them. But I don't know for sure.
So Lorgon healing yet again here. I know we're going to be very close, but Xarnax has no encounters. I cannot judge his experience level.
It's so neat to see a race like this between two solid players, where you just know that the divergence in paths is so equal. Look at this, only 200 experience between them. Xarnax with the lead and an Armored Knight. Lorgon with the everything collected, ready to go back to grinding immediately. This is going to be so close. Ruler asks, where does the Staff of Rain man go? And the answer is, nobody knows. He's very mysterious. But at least he's not a jerk.
You know, he is very nice. I do appreciate that.
When you bring him the harp, you know what he says? Good.
Anyway, so Xarnax has found the next level. We get 1 power, 1 speed, 1 hit point, and 13 MP. That's something, but you know what's not something? Their strength number.
So with that much of an MP gain, it's becoming that much more likely that the only thing is going to be that's going to be lacking is strength. And when they have enough strength, they're going to have an abundance of the other attributes. In particular, HP is really high. There's a good chance they'll be able to use the Death Necklace to compensate for the strength lacking. And so it's probably, I think it's likely, very likely to be an easy Dragon Lord fight for both of them once they have enough strength.
And hey, I mean, even if their strength is kind of low right now, their grinds are very hurt moreable, even though you don't really have as much of an option to attack and hurt more. But as well, you know, having the more MP will at least make that fight a little bit longer. The chat's going to be very close here. Xarnax still with just a little bit of the experience edge. I feel like, you know, if the level is obvious when it's time to go, it's all just kind of going to come down to exactly, you know, when their grind finishes and then just what Sherlock is going to be like.
I'm not sure if Xarnax still has yet to get the rainbow drop or not. It's not on the tracker, but I might have missed it.
I thought I saw him go there, but perhaps I am a forgetful person. I think I'm a forgetful person. Ah, and Xarnax42 in chat telling us that Xarnax has the drop. So yeah, I have a feeling we're just going to see a lot of Armored Knights and the Inn and Coal here. Business is really good in the Inn of Coal. So the only difference between these two runners now is the large to silver shield. What's the difference in between that? Is that 10 defense? Wait, I can look at the tracker. Hi, I'm Sparko. I was just looking for your knowledge.
10 defense is more significant than it seems, mainly because when you gain agility, I believe you only get 1 defense point per 2 agility. So it's hard to gain defense, and the shields can make a big difference in safety, both on the dive when you defense break certain enemies and against the Dragon Lord, where you take lower physical attacks, which could increase your odds of double attacks, which is very much on the table with the HP we're seeing from both players right now, both at level 16.
And right now, I mean, they seem to be on a slightly different cycle here. Like, they are, like, 1 or 2 Armored Knights apart at the moment, but they seem to be on very different, you know, just cycles of MP usage versus going back to heal. Like, it seems to be when one player is walking back to heal, the other player is fighting. Of course, their fights are going to get longer as their stats improve, but it's just, you know, a lot of back and forth, and again, it's just all going to come down to when the level is and who's able to hit it at the right spot. That's gotta be annoying when, you know, you're 1 away, but yet you just can't get another fight out. So again, Xarnax taking about a little more of a lead now by 500 points, but Lorgon did just have to go back to the inn and now is full of resources.
Yeah, so with Lorgon with more MP, if it happens to work out that Xarnax has to go and heal 1 extra time before reaching the required level, again, that could just equalize the experience right there. And we still have Charlock to look at. There's still some randomness left in this seed.
Yeah, I mean, have we even seen a red dragon yet?
I haven't.
I don't think I have either. However, we do know that the blues have the Dragon Lord breath.
I also never saw a knight. I was waiting for those because they're so good with Hurtmore. I saw all the other good ones like Magiwyverns, Wyverns, Wolf Lords, Druid Lords, but no knight and, oh, no Droll Magi either.
Well, you see, all the knights picked up axes and put on armor.
Ah, of course. This is a thriving economy in Alefgard. There's lots of equipment lying around. Only 500 experience between the two.
Yeah.
So close.
So I'm looking, I think Xarnax is probably going to fall short of MP to complete this level. Most likely, unless he gets some little friends, little friendly fights on the way to healing again.
I think it's doubtful that this next level will be enough, but it could become a factor soon.
We have seen giant gains before, however, it's very unlikely. So now Xarnax's turn to go heal.
I thought Xarnax might fight something on the way out, but I didn't see exactly how close he was to the level. Lorgon is just 1,000 away, so he's 6 Armored Knights away, including the one he's about to defeat right here.
And still managing the MP, you know, as carefully as you can, sometimes casting heal instead of heal more, just because you can probably survive that fight. Xarnax done with his business in coal, going back to the town, or rather to the cave. The town he is leaving. Probably just one more big enemy away from the next level. Might even get it before the Armored Knight, but it depends what we find. So, we actually found an enemy before we got to the Armored Knight. We found the Armored Knight! In the wild. So this here, I believe, will give Xarnax the next level. Let's see what we get. Courage and Wit. We get 1 power, 1 speed, 24 hit points, and 2 MP. So I want to say that's going to put us within Death Necklace range. However, even putting on the Death Necklace is not going to get us anywhere close enough to fighting the Dragon Lord yet.
No, and of course neither... Oh, wow, I'm wrong. Xarnax is actually putting it on right away despite just hurt-mooring Armored Knights. He might be looking to attack plus hurt more, and that is exactly what he's testing right now. This could work sometimes, but I'm not sure if it's gonna save him MP in the long run. It's definitely worth trying, though, because he's right on the threshold where it'll be useful.
Yeah, I mean, part of it just has to do with exactly how much HP the Armored Knight has. Care to explain how that is? I thought they had, you know, 1 number of HP.
He's seeing now, by the way, that he can attack for as low as 16. I'm guessing he's going to give up on this idea for now. But yes, the Armored Knights have 99 max HP. An enemy can start with as low as 3/4 of its max HP. So for Armored Knights, that would be probably 74, as most calculations are rounded down in Dragon Warrior. So sometimes they can have as little as 74, sometimes they can have as much as 99 to start. But their max is always 99, meaning if they have heal more, they can heal more all the way up to max.
Yeah, it's always a bugger too, when something surprises heal more, when you really could have taken it out right away in the first time. So now we've got sort of 2 separate strategies almost. Xarnax with the extra attack power and Lorgon with the extra defense, and it's 10 in, you know, both cases. So we'll see how these fights play out.
It's very interesting to see Xarnax continue with this strategy. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. He's likely to use less... obviously, he's using less magic on Hurt Mores. He may end up using more on Heal Mores, and we just have to see how it works out.
So our next level's at 14,250, yes?
That's right.
Yeah, so just keep wailing away at those Armored Knights here.
And so far, we have to note, Xarnax has not sacrificed any of his experience lead. There's still 600 between them right now. So, I didn't think this would be as efficient, but it's certainly not backfiring, and we'll just have to see how it works out. Always interesting to see divergence like this. Also, keep in mind, Xarnax does not have the Silver Shield. It makes a difference in those attacks. But at the next level, Xarnax might be attack plus hurt mooring every Armored Knight. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and when you can get that efficiency going, it's very useful. And as noted in chat by Up to NG, in trip at the same time now, the lead is more clear. Yeah, it's eventually the ways that their battles turned out just got the MP to be the same number, and now we've got about a 600 experience lead on Xarnax's side.
Intuitively, I would guess that Lorgon's setup is gonna make the grind slightly faster. I just don't know if it's like a lot faster or if it's barely tangible. We're really just gonna have to wait and see altogether.
I mean, part of a situation like this for that as well, measuring them out, is whether or not using more MP through, 2 hurt mores at a time is going to, outweigh the costs of possibly using less MP, but having to do more walks there and back to the town.
An unfortunate fire breath taken by Xarnax against this blue dragon. He's gonna have to heal more to stay safe before trying to run again.
Oh, they're angry.
And as Up to NG points out, it looks like both racers are going to get to level 18 on this visit.
Yeah, the last level with the giant gain of the HP MP is going to help. I think it was HP on that one, but it might have been the MP. Remembering previous levels, this is not the Sparko special.
It's gonna be close for Lorgon.
It is possible. Just keep hitting those hurt mores. Come on, you can do it.
This is so interesting. About 450 in experience separates them at the moment. It looks like Lorgon's setup is a little bit better. It would be best for Xarnax at this point if level 18 is the go level, and of course that is possible. We've seen low strength gains. There is a bit of a curve programmed into Dragon Warrior Randomizer, so if you see really low stats late in the levels, it is more likely that they will gain more of that stat as they go on. So we could be seeing a large strength gain in the near future. Will 18 be enough? That's the question. If 18 is enough, I predict this race will be way too close to call.
Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting, again, just how it pans out, like, if it's a borderline type level versus, you know, a very clear, it's go time. But let's see, I think we're about 2-3 Armored Knights away on Xarnax's side, and Lorgon, you know, still very close behind. So let's check Xarnax's MP here. Yeah, I definitely believe that Xarnax is going to be ready to get to the next level very soon in this go. Meanwhile, Lorgon has exhausted all of his MP and is going to have to go on a walk out to heal again. Still can take some smaller fights like this.
Yeah, there's still a possibility of Lorgon making it on the way out, but Xarnax is already there. 5 power, not gonna cut it yet.
Another 23 MP though, gosh.
Absolutely huge! As soon as they get a little bit more strength, it's gonna be so easy to beat the Dragon Lord. Xarnax. I don't know exactly how the math works out. I don't think he can do 2 damage yet, but I think he will do 1 damage, much more. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I was misreading it. His range is 3 to 6 now against the Dragon Lord. So even 16 heal more is not quite enough yet.
Yeah, I really don't think we're ever going to see a fight where you're doing 3 to 6 to the Dragon Lord. How many heal mores would you want for that?
So with the huge MP gain, this could be really good for Xarnax. That could offset, like, if he can make an entire level on this next visit, that could completely offset not having the Silver Shield and having the Death Necklace on already. This is gonna be so close. Xarnax still has yet to get back, so Lorgon gets a little bit of catch-up time. Way too close to call, and I'm starting to think level 18 is gonna be, level 19 is going to be the one.
Yeah, it just depends on exactly where our strength level is going to happen. Or rather, how big it will be. So with that Armored Knight down on Lorgon's side, he joins Xarnax at level 18. And again, we're just grinding away, seeing what 19 brings us.
For those of you who are considering the notion of hurt more strats against the Dragon Lord, I know you're mostly joking, but if anyone's thinking that it's a serious option, I have to warn you that when your odds are 1 in 16 of landing a Hurtmore and you need to land 3 to beat the Dragon Lord, I mean, you could go like 70 tries without landing a Hurtmore and then land like 5 in a row. So it's very, very, very unlikely that you would succeed, like terribly unlikely. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
And you know, not only do you need to use the MP for the Hurtmore, but you also need to factor in your allowance for heal mores as well. But oh, there is a chance. I mean, 1 in 16 is still a chance. It's just not a very likely one.
Xarnax still clinging to that experience lead and has more MP right now. Only 1,400 experience away from the next level.
So just passing the 15,000 experience threshold for Lorgon, though again is going to have to be going back to the inn very soon.
$147 HP for Lorgon. But yeah, Xarnax is handling the grind smoothly. It really doesn't look like he's losing any ground at all here. If the experience stays within 300 or so, it's going to come down to Sharlock encounter rate.
Yeah, we still have no idea what's inside there. See, we're just shy of about 900 experience left to go on Xarnax's side. Quick, do the math. How many Armored Knights is that?
How much?
Just about 900.
900. That's, you need 6 for 900.
Alright.
Five is very close, but you need 6.
Well, to be fair, I was rounding off there, too. It might have been only 5. Either way, we are well on our way there with 43 MP, and we've already downed another one. I think we'll be fine. To see what the next level is, that is. And Lorgon is not that far behind.
Didn't take Lorgon much time at all to get that MP back. Didn't lose much in the way of experience there. He got some fights on the way. And there's only 450 between them. It's just amazing.
Yeah, so just a couple Armored Knights here left for Xarnax, and we get to find out what level 19 is.
This is one of the most exciting Armored Knight grinds I've ever watched.
Very neck and neck.
I love that the racers are so close together, and the one that's slightly behind has a better shield, and not knowing whether or not that's going to make a difference. This is just really cool. It's anybody's race, guys. Stay tuned.
Oh, I'm staying tuned. By the way, I think I just saw we're 4 experience short of the next level.
It was close.
But oh, look at that.
Nice, excellent move on Xarnax's side. Let's see level 19.
What did we get? Ah, 4 power. And yet more hit points keep piling on.
Range is going to be 4 to 8, so with an average of 6 damage, it's going to take 25 attacks or so, like minimum. To cover the range, it's more like 27. And there are only 17 heal mores here, so even with the possibility of double attacks, this is not the level. Xarnax going back to heal.
I mean, interestingly enough, we have 125 HP, after using the Death Necklace.
Yes.
So double attacks are definitely a decent chance of happening. Still with the large shield, you sort of think that might not be quite as much a chance, but, we're gonna most likely have a little more than 125 HP for fighting the Dragon Lord. It's gonna be a good time. So Xarnax taking a really good look at the stats again, probably just taking a little bit of a guess here, and as mentioned in chat, actually, he's checking for a silver shield. Xarnax is only about 1,500 away from being able to purchase one.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't even consider that possibility.
Yeah, it's very rare that you actually do just sort of, organically get your own gold from playing and fighting, but, I mean, there we are. Xarnax does have a chance of getting one.
Especially since in so many seeds, it becomes advantageous to Death Warp when you run out of magic. But this is not one of those seeds. There's a town nice and close by to the Swamp Cave.
Yeah, it actually is a longer walk from the castle to over here. So we'll see how this goes. Lorgon has almost caught up in experience, but it looks like Xarnax has just held on to that.
So Lorgon took a little extra time to get extra gold, but he potentially saved extra time in this grind. And again, it's so difficult to tell how valuable that has been. This grind has just been going back and forth. Both players deviating their magic cycles gradually. One player with the death necklace, one without. It's just so interesting.
Actually, Lorgon did just put on the death necklace I saw, thy body being squeezed.
No, thy body.
Yes, thy body indeed is being squeezed. It's a very, very tight necklace. It's almost a choker, actually.
Still a mere 300 experience. Less than 300 between the two players. That's less than 2 armored knights. This is anybody's race.
Yeah, and with a bit of a flourish, Lorgon gets an excellent move as well on the armored knight. And again, just with how close we are right now, depending on where the levels hit, you know, it could just come down to Sherlock RNG.
Yes, absolutely, Vern. With any form of speedrunning, absolutely any form of notes are totally acceptable. I cannot think of a single instance where writing anything down would not be acceptable.
Yes, anything you can do with pen and paper is legit, and even, you know, basic enemy stats, things like that, or maps of the dark caves, that is allowed too. Pretty much to say what isn't allowed, you know, you're not allowed to do anything that reads the ROM, you're not allowed to look at what your opponent is doing, but outside of that, you know, anything that is legitimate game statistics, that is fair game.
And as Lord of the Synth mentions, that includes charts and maps that are online. You can look at online information. There's tons of repositories out there with very useful, accurate info. This is all basically so everyone's on an even field in terms of information. We want everyone to know how everything works.
And, you know, even as evidenced by looking at some stats here on the screen, even some of our top runners, oh, say the two of us, we're still learning things about, you know, the very specific stats of enemies. I feel like, you know, I have a good ballpark idea of where a lot of enemies like HP and things lie, but I do not know the specific numbers.
I've always been happy with ballparks, but at the same time, like, I literally just learned the max HP of an Armored Knight today, and that's legitimately useful information, because in a seed like this is a perfect example where your strength is going up. You want to see how close you are to the threshold of getting 1 attack plus hurt more versus 2 hurt mores.
Yeah, the sooner you can do that, the sooner you're really saving your MP. So what's our next level, 19,500?
It is. We have reached the point where levels take 3,000 experience instead of 2250, I believe.
Yeah, they progressively get to be more experienced, you know, as an RPG is, and then it just goes flat on 3,000 for a bit. At least with the fast experience on.
Until the very last one, which is a number that I don't know and don't need to know.
Yeah, you're never going to be seeing level 30 in a race like this.
I think the highest anyone has ever had to go legitimately in a Dragon Warrior Randomizer race is level 23.
Yeah, there's supposed to be an experience curve. I believe it said the average level to fight the Dragon Lord is around 16, but of course, you know, there are many outliers here and there. But I feel like more of the outliers we see on the later end of things rather than the earlier end of things.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is because you need a certain minimum area for all your stats, and in some cases, if you're missing one of them, that's enough to deter you. Like, if you have less than 90 hit points, or I guess now I should say less than 88 hit points, you can't really fight the Dragon Lord even if you're super strong. Or you could be super strong but not have enough MP
or
to
heal more.
Or heal more itself, yeah.
Again, heal more is guaranteed by level 16 along with all your other spells, but there have been times where, you know, it's been like, I'm ready to fight the Dragon Lord. I cannot heal myself past the fire that is being thrown at me. So Xarnax now taking a walk over to Remolder. I have to only assume this is for a silver shield, and he does have the money, and a silver shield is there, so Xarnax buys the silver shield, and now our runners are equal in everything, actually.
Absolutely everything, right down to stats. Both players took the same name, and so have strength HP growth.
Though yes, as noted in chat, Lorgon did just take the experience lead, and instead of grinding right away, Xarnax is back to the castle.
I have to assume this means Xarnax intends to go into Sharlock and hope that level 20 is the one. And that certainly seems reasonable right now. With strength being the only thing lacking, it's totally reasonable to expect a bigger strength gain in the near future.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a bad plan. I mean, if you do get the proper amount of attack power that you need to be able to kill the Dragon Lord, you potentially might not even need all of your heal mores at this point.
Teal saying they've never dove below 124 attack power. I know I've done either 122 or 123, where your range is 5 to 11, giving you an average of 8. About 20 attacks needed at that point, so if you happen to have 17 heal mores or maybe a little less with huge HP, you can do it. It's just going to be a really, really long fight.
Alright, so I think 1 or 2 more Armored Knights over on Lorgon's side here.
Oh, I guess Xarnax is actually going back to grind. Oh no! Casting Return again. Was that an accident? It doesn't look like it. Oh, I'm not sure. Was that maybe supposed to be a repel? Maybe?
Oh, the
I'm
old
worried
repel
about that.
instead of return.
That's certainly happened to me.
Anyway, let's see what we get for our next level. Level 20. Courage and Wit. 27 power.
There it is. There's the curve evening out.
I think we're good.
So yeah, this will be a super easy Dragon Lord fight for both players, and if Xarnax is making the decision to go straight into Sharlock, this is going to be very, very close. Oh, that's right. With the Death Necklace, you can't re-enter the castle. Wow.
No healing with that. I mean, with Erdrick's armor, in theory, you can walk away and still be fine, but you cannot heal your MP that way. And now the game of where is the big C? I know both runners have found it, just I personally don't remember myself because tracking other maps is difficult.
It's very difficult.
Oh yes, for sure.
So it'll almost certainly, I shouldn't say almost certainly, but it'll very likely be exactly 10 attacks for both players to win at level 20, and with 17 heal mores, and the potential for double attacks as well, including the Silver Shield, 93 agility. They're well above 99% to win.
Yeah, and that's a very cozy way to go down Sharlock. It's just when you have so many extra heal mores and wiggle room, you are very happy. So Lorgon is the first one to place the rainbow drop, and, well, finally we have built our bridge.
Those barrier tiles look so different in this version.
Yeah, I like the different sprites.
What are those death counters? They're 8 and 14.
Alright, and with Lorgon discovering the secret passage, we're going to be descending into the darkness. Unless we have a torch!
So yeah, it is unfortunate how an accidental spellcast like that can cost a little bit of time. Xarnax is really close to that next level. He'll certainly be in Sharlock before this race is over. We gotta see how Lorgon's descent goes. So far looking like an easy path of enemies. I haven't seen a red dragon yet, and I'm not sure if there are gonna be any armored knights either.
I think we've seen enough armored knights though, right?
Between the two of them, perhaps a couple hundred. And here comes Xarnax, not far behind at all, coming into Sharlock.
Yeah, both players making the dive, just Lorgon having a few floors of a lead here. And of course Xarnax still needing to get a couple more fights, but I think that's some easy pickings over here. Alright, so just 2 more dark floors for Lorgon here, and these are very short ones. And did I say 2? Oh, 1.
Lorgon has made it to the basement. We'll see how many encounters there are on the way, but with 93 agility, it's looking like smooth sailing. Xarnax unfortunately stopped by an armored knight, finally getting away. Certainly has the agility to be the favorite to run away from an armored knight. Not too many more fights required for Xarnax, and of course, he might not know it yet, but he can heal more as much as he wants in these fights. Still being very careful to conserve those heal mores just in case it's just a small power gain at the next level.
Yeah, and with only 5 MP difference in between the 2 levels, it's really not a make-or-break situation for having to leave and go out and heal again as far as, you know, extra MP.
Gotta hand it to Xarnax having the courage to make this decision, so uncertain about what the next level is gonna bring. But I totally agree that it's the right one.
And so very soon we're going to see what Lorgon encounters on our mini-boss here, and it is the Golem. Hey, remember that fairy flu we got like about an hour or so ago?
Now, of course, in this situation, he doesn't need to use it, but he will, presumably just in case golems have sleep and Dragon Lord breath. So this is ensuring a victory.
It's always just nice for a convenience anyway if you know, just want to keep safe.
Now, after the Golem woke up right away and just attacked, Lorgon is willing to take the risk and just finish it off with physicals.
Yeah, usually I only like to flute about once as far as, fights go. And we are off to fight the Dragon Lord. It's being a little cruel, but I think with like almost all of our MP intact, we are really not worried so much about that. So let's see what we've got from the Dragon Lord, and welcome very much for the Raiders from Randomania. Got a very friendly Dragon Lord fight coming up along here. With all this attack power and all the MP, the only thing that is going to keep Lorgon from winning this fight here is a miss menu.
Playing it safe and heal mooring at 48, no reason to take a risk there.
Meanwhile, Xarnax has found the bottom floor of the Dragon Lord's castle. I think he's either 1 or 2 enemies away. Yeah, it looks like it's going to have to be 2 enemies away from the next level. But he does know he is going to be fighting the mini-boss, so he probably can just be very careful with what he chooses.
Lorgon rolling...
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh no!
Oh no, but the blue dragon just locks him here.
So
and unfortunately
unfortunate.
isn't able to run and takes a death.
I can't blame Xarnax for wanting to hold on to those heal mores. It's just so unfortunate with 82 agility not getting away from a blue dragon in multiple tries.
Yeah, and you really want to believe that you can run from them. Yet, sometimes that is just how the RNG works. Subscribe to my newsletter, agility means nothing.
Lorgon's gotta be only 1 or 2 attacks away at this point. The death wasn't gonna make a difference, and hopefully it was close enough that Xarnax will realize that it wasn't going to make the difference. Yeah, if it's over now, I think Xarnax knows.
And with that, apologies for any of the drop frames that may have just occurred, but Lorgon did just take down the Dragon Lord.
GG to Lorgon. A valiant effort by Xarnax, and a reminder to everyone how solid the field is in this tournament. Nothing is guaranteed, nobody knows what's gonna happen next.
And with that, Lorgon finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 59 seconds in first place.
Wow, I didn't even realize it was that long. I guess time flies when you're grinding Armored Knights for like 6 levels. Xarnax, still 2 enemies away. This green dragon will put him within 1, and then he'll get the news that level 20 is certainly enough. GG, Lorgon, well done, and I'm glad you both were able to be here for this rebroadcast of your race.
Very well done indeed. It was a lot of fun to watch this. Anyway, I would definitely like to see if I can get Lorgon available for an interview. I will go ask in SRL. Yes. Welcome, welcome. With that dingle, I think we've got Lorgon in chat.
Hello. Thanks for rebroadcasting this one. It was great to watch.
Thank you very much for the entertaining race. Xarnax is just descending right now. Unfortunately, he took a death to a blue dragon close to the bottom, but, is making a valiant effort to get down there right now.
Indeed.
So what were your thoughts on this seed? It was, quite a very low strength until the end of it.
I was second-guessing my grind in the back of Karen Ham to buy the silver shield early throughout the seed. But the more levels that we needed, the more it felt like that had the potential to pay off. Until we got to level 20, and all of a sudden it didn't matter at all for Charlock. I was thinking the other advantage of the silver shield is if I need to do a dive and grind, I could take advantage of it, and then all of a sudden I didn't need to do a dive and grind. Like it wasn't going to be close. So it really had me second guessing. As I was walking through Charlock up to the Dragon Lord, I was like, if I see that done, it will suck, but at the same time, I'll know the viewers got a really good thing to watch.
And apparently Lorgon is very quiet on my end. Apologies for that. I will turn up the volume on that. Hopefully that'll be a little better.
Alright, we'll see if they can hear me now.
Oh, actually, apparently Discord is not picking up your audio at all, so I'm sorry, nobody heard any of that. I am going to have to do a little bit of background work here, but for now, let's enjoy Xarnax going down through the bottom of the Charlock. And I will see if I can fix this. That is not... Sorry, folks, one moment here. Technical difficulties.
They said they can hear him, just not loudly.
I see. Can you hear me now?
That should be better now, I think. Oh, he was just a lot quieter. Well, hopefully this is alright now. Sorry, folks. And oh my gosh, I think that was Xarnax here in chat. Gosh. Xarnax is still racing. How brave.
He's still racing.
You're quite the multitasker.
GG, man. This is quite a race.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch run back. Like, I was surprised by your Death Necklace move. I was surprised by your going back to get the Silver Shield, although who would have expected we were going to grind 14,000 gold fighting Axe Knights? It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, once I got that money, I was like, if the next level is 1 or 2 hit points for attack power, that could be enough, and the Silver Shield would make it viable, so I just figured I needed to start going down.
Yeah, and it was good that you had actually found Remolder during the seed. I had missed it. When I was mapping, I went around the south end and I went around the north end, and I had a question mark on my map in the middle that if I ever needed to go back to somewhere, that's where I needed to go. But since it wasn't needed on the seed, I didn't go there. There was something else I was just going to say, and I forgot what it was now.
Yeah, it was really fun watching this back and seeing the differences in decisions, the differences in... Like, I know in the early game, I felt like I just got...
The Blue Dragon death that you took in the mountain cave, I think, was one of the really big ones.
Yeah, that was the worst one for sure. Partly just because I needed to go back into mountain cave at some point. Partly because it was just another death. And every death from the second continent was costly just because it took so much time to get back there.
Right, it was a really weird seed that you start with Tanagel at the very edge of one continent, and you have to walk all the way around the first continent to get to Swamp Cave to get to all the other locations.
Thing on that first continent, yeah. And
other than Charlock, yeah.
Right. And then I had a lot of early like Axe Knight and couple just early game I was trying to explore and got stopped a lot, and And so I felt really behind even from that, and I knew every death, like just because they set you back so far, that there could be a lot of variance in this seed. I was actually I was pretty surprised.
And yeah, I took a big risk. I carried the princess around for a long time, as you saw. And, if I had taken a death somewhere along the way in there, but at that point, we had like 80 something hit points or something. And so there were times where I was walking through the swamp and like healing like every 5 steps or whatever, just to make sure I was above 72 in case the blue dragon showed up.
Yeah, that was... I did feel really vindicated when as soon as I got the coordinates, I pulled up my spell menu and was on return, and then I was immediately like, wait a second, I don't know if I can walk that far south from Tanagel. I was very happy I made that realization before I cast it.
Yeah, that was good. Kind of lost at the beginning of the race, but I don't know if anyone noticed. The first gold chest that I got had 500 gold in it. I immediately thought about resetting then and there, but while my brain was thinking about resetting with 500 gold, my fingers opened the next chest, and it was wings, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy a bunch of keys, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever gotten the 500 at the start, though. The lowest possible roll.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, level 20, and I was really... obviously... we saw what happened with bad luck to you there at the end, and so I was really, since I knew what the outcome was in terms of the time, I was really surprised as I was watching, us both going into Sharlock at the same time. I was like, how is this going to turn out this way?
Oh, yeah.
And the swag is coming up to NG. I see a question in the chat. You just wait, don't worry.
Maybe not what he's expecting. But,
yeah, I guess while we have a moment as you're killing off the Dragon Lord, I want to thank our restreamer and tracker and, Ness and Sparko for awesome commentary. I always enjoy listening to the two of you banter, especially in a long seed like this. Keeping it interesting while we're grinding axes. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, real treat to get you guys to join in on this for us.
I was honored, and I'm glad the race was so epic. I assume you guys hadn't watched it back yet. It must have been quite a thrill to see how close it really was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to commentate this. Thank you so much for inviting us to this.
Hurrah! Hurrah! Long live Z!
Xarnax visiting the king's twin.
Always a good time.
I only very recently found out that text isn't the same every time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Come now, King Lorik awaits.
Anyway, Xarnax finishes in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 57 seconds.
King Lorik is Bob
GG,
Dole,
Xarnax.
now confirmed.
Yeah, great job to both of you. That was a really fun race to watch.
Yeah, the blue dragon death absolutely hurt a lot. Hurt a lot less when I saw the dot done like shortly after knowing I wasn't in the lead anyway. But I also knew just by how close my death to his finish were to each other that this was going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And yeah, I really wonder if the map had been slightly different. Like, I was drawing a map during this one, and somewhere around level 17 or 18, I started thinking, okay, suppose I get the go level, suppose there's big stats that come, I need to get back to Sharlock, what's the best way to do it? And I decided taking the inn at Cole and going through the swamp cave was going to be shorter than starting again at Tanagel. I did not even consider the fact that we were cursed and would not be able to go into Tanagel, and so if I had thought that it was different, I might have done the same thing that you did, and that could have turned the match potentially.
Yeah, I'm curious if I had just started walking and grinding as soon as I got the shield, how the outcome would have changed. it doesn't matter. It was yeah. We looks like we both played pretty well. I was very concerned. I've had several. My last 5 races or so, I've just made at least one massive blunder that I felt just was like I was disappointed with myself afterwards. And the accidental return definitely falls in that category, but not nearly on the same scale as some of the other mistakes I've been making. Overall, I felt really happy with how I played this race,
Yeah,
which was all I really could ask for.
yeah, and that's what I was thinking about it like before going in. This is my first tournament, and so my first chance to get, in an elimination round and be in the situation. And I was like, thinking about what would happen if I win, what would happen if I lose. And I decided what I really want is just a good race. I think we're ranked like number 10 and number 12 on SRL, and those top rankings are always kind of swapping around. So despite the seeding that was coming in here after the Swiss, like we're pretty much even players. And so I thought it was going to be close.
Yeah, it did break one nasty streak only because of that death. I think the last 5 races I've done, just casual races in SRL, at least one person has put in their done as I was fighting the Dragon Lord. That's happened like 5 races in a row now. So you broke that streak. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, unfortunately, that means Xarnax is eliminated from the tournament. Single elimination is kind of cruel that way, but I mean, we got this far and you got into the brackets, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And well, Lorgon, I guess I could have peeked ahead to see who you might be facing next.
I'm facing Xarnax. I think it was a race from a day or two ago that he won. Is going to be my opponent in the bracket if I remember correctly. But if you're pulling it up, it'd be good to
Yes,
verify.
that is confirmed. So you've already got your next opponent. Any thoughts on that?
That's actually one of the few opponents that I haven't seen run very much. I did. Xarnax was talking about practice races that he was doing this week. I was scouting him out and watched him play 2 full races just to know what I was up against, to see if it was going to affect any like gambles that I wanted to do in this one. Xarnax, I don't really know very well, and so I don't have thoughts going in. I just know that everyone who was qualified for the brackets has a chance to win all these races, and so we're going to see a lot of good competition moving forward.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the rest of the brackets. There's nothing but good races ahead of us.
Should be a lot of fun. There have been a fair amount of upsets already so far, and it's really interesting because with the randomizer, anything can really happen. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
There is always variance in the randomizer, and it makes it fun to watch. It can sometimes make it heartbreaking, but I really enjoy watching this tournament. And kind of regardless of the outcomes, like my brackets, we had a chance to submit kind of brackets of who we thought was going to win to see who could pick things before it all started, and that's already gone completely to heck.
Yeah, it's always hard to predict those sort of things, especially when sometimes the unimaginable even takes up. But that's part of randomizer, part of tournament play. It's all in good fun. So any other thoughts from either of you?
No, just thanks again. I know NESCardinality is heading out early in the morning, so appreciate you staying up for this.
You bet.
Oh yeah, sorry to have rolled the level 20 seed that ended up taking so much of your time, but it was a lot of fun.
It was still less than 2 hours.
That was actually one of the things I was really happy about when I typed in my .done and saw the time. I was like, sub 2. I think I said that aloud.
Yeah, just another example of a seed where you started with the sword, you had keys at the beginning, you got hurt more early, armored knights to grind, and still the race took around 2 hours. Absolutely zany. Anything can happen in this randomizer.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes the randomizer great, is every seed is a unique puzzle to solve.
All right, well, with that, I think that pretty much does it for the night for us. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Lorgon and Xarnax, for putting on the lovely show. Thank you, Lord of the Synth, for doing the tracking for us. Thank you very much to my commentary partner here, NESCardinality. Always a pleasure to work with you.
Likewise, Sparkover.
And thank you, Sparkover, to our restreamer. Wait, oh, that one's me, but that's
Thank
okay.
you, Sparkover, to our restreamer.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun tonight, and assuming that this hosting will work properly, I know the bot might be a little bit down right now, we are going to attempt to go raid RPG Limit Break, who is having another race of Silverfire versus Thurwolf.
They're just in the first 4 minutes, so you haven't missed much. Enjoy, everyone.
Have a lovely night, everybody. Take care.